These are the Black Hills of South Dakota, hills that are really mountains, blackened by the ponderosa pines on the steep sides. Called Paha Sápa by the Lakota Indians for their dark appearance, these mountains are the lands of legends, of dreams, and of the mystique of the Old West. When the cry of gold went out in the Black Hills in 1876, gold seekers came from far and wide to make their fortunes. These were the adventurers dreaming of striking it rich. These prospectors mined the streams with sluice box and gold pan, and used pick, shovel, and dynamite to dig and blast their way into the hillsides in search of that precious metal. In fact, the Homestake mine in Lead, which when closed in 2002, was the largest and deepest gold mine in North America, having produced more than $1 billion in gold. One of the many miners seeking to make his fortune in gold was Lebeau, a Frenchman who became hopelessly lost and starved while prospecting in the unfamiliar and rugged terrain of the Black Hills. Legend tells us that he fell asleep and dreamed of the grape vineyards of his native land. When he awoke, he stumbled upon a patch of wild grapes that sustained him until he was able to find his way back to civilization. Although he never did find gold himself, he began to make jewelry designed in honor of the life-saving grapes. He alloyed other metals with gold to make the green and pink leaves in the unique tri-colored jewelry he called good luck jewelry, which was the inspiration for the now famous Black Hills Gold. In 1927, when famed sculptor Gutzon Borglum came to the Black Hills to begin his monumental carving of Mount Rushmore, he recruited some of these rugged gold miners to work on the carving of the mountain, using their expertise in blasting and rockwork. The Black Hills is home to the faces of Mount Rushmore National Monument and also to the Black Hills Gold Factory. Handcrafted Black Hills gold jewelry requires dozens of steps to create each finished piece. From the initial design to the final polish, all steps are carefully guided by trained artisans. Each year, many new designs are created, carved in wax and meticulously detailed by hand. After the design is approved, the wax model is cast into a silver master, which is further refined to be free of any imperfection so that each future wax reproduction is made from the best possible original. To be able to remake duplicates of each style, rubber molds are needed, so the silver master is placed inside sheets of rubber which are melted around it. Once the rubber mold is cooled, it is carefully cut open and the silver master removed, leaving an exact impression of the master. Hot wax is then injected into the rubber mold, which cools in just seconds. The new wax jewelry is now attached to a central wax rod using a hot wax pen. As many as 100 pieces are added to the rod, giving the appearance of a tree. The wax tree is then placed inside a metal flask and filled with a liquid plaster called investment. As the investment is poured over the wax tree, a vacuum is used to extract any air bubbles so that no air pockets are left between the investment and the wax tree. The investment is allowed to harden, and the flask is then placed in an oven overnight at 1300 degrees Fahrenheit. This is where lost wax casting derives its name, because as the wax completely melts and burns away, it leaves a hollow cavity impression of the tree. While the flask is still hot, it is placed in a vacuum casting machine where molten gold at 1800 degrees is sucked into the empty cavity of the mold. Once the gold is cooled to its solid form, the flask is then submerged into a vat of cold water, where the plaster crumbles and dissolves, leaving in its place a tree of gold where the wax tree used to be. Each piece of newly cast gold jewelry is then cut from the tree and the sprue ground off. Black Hills Gold uses over 100 leaf shapes and sizes, stamped from 12-karat gold sheets using leaf-shaped dies on a foot press. These sheets of gold are cast in either rose or green gold, created by adding copper alloys to make the rose color, and silver and zinc alloys for the green. The leaves are then domed with a dabbing block and punch so that they will have a more natural look. The leaves are then spot welded in place, using an electrical arc to produce a small tack weld to temporarily hold each leaf in the correct position and angle during the soldering operation. Syringes of a paste solder mixture with 10 karat, 14 karat, or sterling silver, depending on the jewelry piece, are placed under the leaves. The jewelry is then placed on a fireproof tray, which will travel through a furnace burning at approximately 1400 degrees, which is hot enough to melt the solder, but not the gold. After the jewelry has gone through this stage, the leaves are permanently attached. In a process referred to as wriggling, skilled craftsmen use a tool called a graver, much like a miniature chisel, to apply a frosted finish onto the leaves by gently rocking the graver back and forth along the surface. The next progression is bright cutting, in which the veins are carved into the leaf by using an air-driven pointed graver. And though there is a general pattern, the fact that they are done freehand makes each leaf individual and unique, like the leaves of a real grapevine. Automated machinery could be used for many of these steps, and is by some Black Hills Gold manufacturers, but the jewelry tends to have a cookie-cutter look with little individuality. At Black Hills Gold, however, we choose to handcraft each piece so that no two pieces are ever exactly alike. On many styles, a diamond-tipped tool spinning at 40,000 revolutions per minute is used to carve little notches in the edges of the jewelry. These notches act as mirrors to reflect the light, giving the jewelry a brighter look. Black Hills Gold was the first company to use this process referred to as diamond cutting, and we consider it to be one of our style signatures. In the final step, a muslin buffing wheel with polishing compound brings the jewelry to a final high polish luster. Every piece of Mount Rushmore gold is carefully inspected to ensure each one meets our extremely high standards. The result of all this skilled effort is the beauty and mystique of Black Hills Gold. Black Hills Gold jewelry is reminiscent of the legends of the Old West and the excitement of the gold rush. You can own a piece of that history when you own a piece of Black Hills Gold jewelry. Legend has it that good luck follows those that wear it. Black Hills Gold wishes you that good luck.